Yep. So again, this is we're going to talk about Grafana 7.0, but I'm not Torkel. I'm not the creator of Grafana, but he gave an amazing talk at GrafanaCon online. It's recorded. You can Google for Grafana 7.0 GrafanaCon and go watch that talk. And today you're going to hear from me. I'm Gautam. Been involved in Prometheus for nearly 4 years now. Started out as a normal contributor, did an internship with CoreOS, very similar to GSOC, working on Prometheus, and then I became a TSDB maintainer. But over the past year and a half, I've been mainly working on Cortex, which is a CNCF project you can use to scale Prometheus similar to Victoria Metrics. And we use Cortex at Grafana Labs to provide a hosted Prometheus service. So I like most of my day job is to make sure that all the scales for like hundreds of millions of time series and it's performant and all of that. And I was also one of the initial co-authors of the Loki project, which is a log aggregation system similar to Prometheus, inspired by Prometheus. Anyways, the agenda is we will quickly take a look at like the past year or like what happened, and I'll try to get you excited for 7.0 by covering some features, some highlights, give you a short demo, and hopefully this will get you excited to go watch the full talk with all the new features and stuff. And after this, I want to kind of set the stage for like what is our vision with 7.0, what is our vision for observability for Grafana, like where do we see ourselves, and then we will open up for Q&A. All right. So last Grafana Con was in LA. We did Grafana 6.0, which was the biggest release of Grafana at that point. And we had a lot of fun. And this time we wanted to do Grafana Con in Amsterdam. I was really looking forward to that. But sadly, in a weird turn of events, we had to move it all online. But Grafana 6 had 7 minor releases, which is the most number of minor releases for a major release in Grafana. Like you basically had to upgrade every 6 weeks, which is amazing. But it also shows you that how much the team has grown, how many features and improvements we've shipped. So the team has grown to like 30 plus members working on just Grafana and the ecosystem. So like it's super active. And after all of this, they've put in a lot of effort to ship Grafana 7.0, which is the biggest release of Grafana to date. And it has a lot of minor improvements, like incremental improvements that make things easier. But it also has a lot of major new features and other things that we'll cover. Quick sneak peek. This is the different kind of bar panels that you can have as part of Grafana. So like the different styling, like you can have gradients, all of this can be adjusted. Like you can pick what size a panel can be very easily. I'll show you the demo with that. And yeah, so this is another new panel. So the single stat panel has been updated to be much better. It can show you single stat or like a few multi-stats. Cool. One of the cool things I like is the data links, and I'll tell in the whole vision for observability, it'll become a lot more apparent why we have these data links. But the idea is you can actually link from the legend to a custom link of your choice. So you can jump from one dashboard to another, from one place to another, based on the data that you have. So basically, you can create a link here for each of the legends, and you can set that link to be the different parts of the time series. So essentially, if you have a time series that has a team name, and by clicking on that time series, if you want to jump to a particular runbook list for that team or something, you can. So like you can jump from A to B, and we will see why we implemented this in the larger scheme of things at the end of the talk. So we have a logs panel, and we initially implemented this to support Loki, but we also have equal support for InfluxDB logs and Elasticsearch logs, and we're completely expanding the list. So one thing I want to make clear, even though we have our own project Loki, we still consider Influx and Elasticsearch, mainly Elasticsearch, as an equal to Loki in terms of priority. So if anything exists in Loki, a feature is implemented for Loki, the next thing we do is implement it for Elasticsearch. So to give you a quick update of the log streaming and log context features, let me open up this dashboard. You can still see the screen and the dashboard, like the Grafana panel I opened, right? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Yes, Gaurav, we can
Yep.
see.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Cool. Great. So this is like the explore panel where we are like looking at all the logs for the demo, and let me just filter for errors. And so this is the Loki query language or LogQL, and then we can be like, okay, I want to tail all the latest logs for this. So you can kind of have, hopefully the application will write an error, but like you can tail the logs here. When I ran the demo, they were printing logs, but like let me stop this. Let me remove this error bit, and maybe hopefully it will work now. Let me see. 5. Yep. Basically, if you can't see, like, more, I think newer and newer logs are being printed. Yep. So you can live tail logs from Loki and Elasticsearch in Grafana. So while debugging something, if you can figure out, okay, I want to live tail the logs for all the pods in this deployment, basically do the selection, do the live tailing. The other interesting feature we have is the context feature. So let's say you selected errors, but you typically don't want to see just the error log. You want to see what happened before and after, before and after that log, like in grep -a -b. So if you, by showing context, it will show you a few lines above and few lines below for that particular pod or for that particular log stream, which I think is super cool. You can load more and stuff. So this is a quick demo for that. Going back. All right. So again, this is like we will cover a few more in the next demos, but we have improved cloud data sources. Like next we are going to talk about Azure Monitor. I think we have improved support for CloudWatch, Azure Monitor, and all of this. The idea is if you install Grafana or if you're running in a cloud provider, the cloud provider already has some kind of monitoring system, but it doesn't have the greatest of the UIs, or it doesn't have some of the features you want. But if you install Grafana, you can directly connect to a CloudWatch or an Azure Monitor or whatever cloud data source, and you can have monitoring in Grafana without any setup. So one of the other things is we now have a plugin platform, like a stable plugin platform that you can build backend and front-end plugins for. We used to have a backend plugin platform, but it was not stable. It wasn't publicized much, but we want to enable people to build awesome and amazing plugins for Grafana, with Grafana. So we have a stable plugin platform. We have an SDK you can use to build backend plugins. It's all based on gRPC. And you should watch the talk and read the release notes for like more details around this. So this is me trying to get you excited for Grafana 7.0. I hope you see the 7.0 dashboard here. So these are different panels, different styles. So one of the cool things is, I think, if I'm right, you should be able to like do modifications however you want. Like all of this is super flexible. But the really cool thing is updates. I think, I mean, let me just pick this to the edit mode. So essentially, you can just close this, and here you see all the things that you have, like for your queries, where you can write your queries, and then here you have different settings for the panels, like what is the panel title and stuff. Visualization. Do you want a graph? Do you want a single stat? Do you want a gauge? do you want a bar graph? So you can basically write your queries and then see, then go to the visualization panel to kind of figure out what do you want to see here. And you can switch between visualizations quite easily. Like all the different things, they're on a side panel this time, and you can increase or decrease the size of each of these things as you want, which is pretty cool. So the other cool thing is override. So basically you have this graph panel, right? And this has like global settings. But if you want to override the settings for a particular series here, let's say C series, you can say filter by field. I want to choose the thing for C series, and I want to say the maximum value for that is 10,000. So like currently the maximum is 10,000, but it's at 54. Maybe if I make the maximum to be 60, which is like a custom override, you can see that it adjusts for just this series. So this is like overrides. That's first thing. The other thing is transformations. So if you want to make a table panel out of this, like out of 5 different queries, it's really hard. Like you can't in the current Grafana. You have to pick a single table or a single query to display all this. But using data transformations, you can write functions, modify your data, add new tags and stuff. In this case, you can join between different time series and show a single thing. Here you can join based on time, and for a particular time it will just display, for each time it will display all the values for each of the different series. So this is data transformations, the different ways you can edit it. Fields, let me see, did I forget covering anything? Overrides, like it's super cool, super extensible. You can collapse it. Yep. Yeah. And again, like basically you write your query first and then figure out how you want to visualize it, and that flow becomes much easier with Grafana 7.0. This is just a few improvements that we've made. We've made a lot more improvements. Oh yeah, I also want to show you data links. Let me just go back, or like, let me do this. Show options. Where is this data links? Yep, links. You can say show details, maybe https google.com. I forgot the syntax for it, so let me go back and figure out the syntax. Dollar. And yeah. Now visualization graph. Should work at this point. I don't know what's wrong here. Data link title and notes. I don't know. Okay, I have no idea why the link is not working, but when I tried to run this demo before, it was might be a bug. But basically, by clicking on this, you can go to a different dashboard, a particular team page, or whatever, using data links. Anyways, this is just a short sneak peek into all the cool and different things that we've introduced in Grafana 7.0. If like for more details, you should go and watch the talk by Torkel. He goes into a lot more detail around transformations, around the new plugins and all of that. Go watch that talk. But with that, I want to, God, this is hard figuring out. Okay. I'm back to my slides. Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yes,
so
we can see.
Yep. So one of the tenets of Grafana was democratize metrics, and it's still true. Basically, help everyone visualize their metrics, make it easy for companies and people to adopt monitoring, adopt metrics. And I think we've succeeded in this. We still have a long way to go, But now it's not just metrics, it's democratized observability. And I'm going to take you through a short story of why we ended up, why we did this, like the context behind it, and what our next plans are. So for the first thing, a self plug, you should go watch my amazing PromCon talk about Prometheus and Jaeger. Jaeger is a distributed tracing platform. We'll get into that. And I gave a talk at PromCon on how Prometheus and Jaeger can work together. One of the highlights of that talk is where I talk about exemplars. And exemplars let you kind of jump from metrics to distributed traces. We'll get back to that. And Grafana 7.0 added a completely new data backend called the trace backend with support for Jaeger. This will take a minute. I'm trying to. Yep. So if you use Jaeger, you can basically you don't need to use the Jaeger UI anymore, and you can query for traces and visualize traces directly inside Grafana. With Grafana 7.0. So we have Jaeger support. We'll soon add Zipkin and other data sources for tracing. So, but why? Like, why are we making all these different changes? Like, what is the bigger goal? For that, I want to cover what is tracing a little bit. So distributed tracing, to give you a context why I came across distributed tracing, I run a system called Cortex, and as Karan was said, Cortex was operationally complex to handle. It was so we've simplified the architecture of Cortex to be a single binary, just like Thanos or Victoria Metrics, and you can have only 2 or 3 different services and scale it out. Like we've simplified this architecture for most users. Having said that, when you run it at a scale of hundreds of millions of active series, you need to have individually scalable microservice components where you can tune each individual component and you can scale it out to have, and you can replicate it to have higher availability and performance. So this is Cortex. Now the problem is people were sending us queries and some queries were slow. And this is going to be true for you even as you move to a microservice model. Let's say you have a microservice model where you talk to 5 or 6 different services. Like a user sends a request, you talk to an authentication service to see if the keys are valid, and then you talk to an authorization service to see which team the user belongs to, what his scopes are. You talk to a billing service to make sure that this user is performing these operations that need to be billed for. Then you talk to a MySQL backend, you get data from an API, then you return the data to the user. So there's like a lot of microservices you're talking to here. Now, let's say this particular request that the user sent took 10 seconds. You don't know what was slow, or like what took 10 seconds. Is each of these 5 services adding 2 seconds, or is a particular service adding 5 seconds and another service adding 4 seconds and the other ones are super fast? Or is the single SQL request slow? It's extremely hard to figure out what is being slow. And this is particularly hard if you have 1 or 2 requests that are slow. In our case, most of our queries were happy, but a few queries were taking 20 seconds, 25 seconds, and we had no idea what was happening. So my daily job was optimizing this. So every morning I wake up, I pray to God, I look out of my balcony. And then I look at some dashboards. So we have amazing dashboards via the red method. So we have the request errors durations here. So if there's an error, it will show up as a 500 here. And then we have the latency panel here. There's a spike in latency. And you can see that, okay, our front end has about 200 milliseconds, while our distributor has 175 milliseconds. So we know the front end is adding 30 milliseconds additional latency. And our ingesters were taking 60 milliseconds, while distributors were taking 175. So we know that the distributors were adding 100 milliseconds latency. So while this gives you the overall structure as to how your request flows, it's still hard to figure out why a particular request is slow. Like metrics don't give you the granularity you need to debug like exactly why it's wrong. So anyways, like every day I wake up, I look at the slow queries. I try to understand what's happening there. I make a few guesses as to what is slow in this complex system, what is taking too long to process. I add some metrics to verify my hypothesis. I deploy this system. I wait for a day or two. And usually my metrics tell me that my guess was wrong. But a few days of guessing later, I will find an optimization I can do. And then I deploy that optimization. And I had an increment like my queries are 30% faster, and then I restart this process again. So this is painful, and this is slow, and this is not ideal. Hence, we added distributed tracing via Jaeger to our stack. So distributed tracing tells you exactly how long a request took and why it was slow. So here you can see that this request took 14 seconds, 14.85 seconds, of which, if you know your application, this is basically saying, okay, Cortex took like 2.4 seconds to load the data, while the rest of the time was spent running the PromQL query, and half a second was spent transferring the data to the user. So by looking at this, I know, okay, for this query, PromQL engine is the slowest bit. It's not Bigtable, it's not GCS, it's PromQL. Let me go and profile PromQL. Let me write a benchmark for PromQL for this particular query on this particular data, and let me figure out what's slow. Just by looking at this single view, I knew exactly what was wrong. And this completely sped up my query optimization process. And like over the last year or so, like 18 months ago, we started this process, and in 6 months we made Cortex 20x faster for most cases. All of that powered by distributed tracing. But the problem was each of these systems was in a different place, and this is true for us, and this is true for everyone on this call. So you get an alert via email, via PagerDuty, via Slack. Then you go to Grafana. And from Grafana, you might go to Prometheus, you do some fiddling, figure out exactly what's wrong. And then you go to Elasticsearch, look at the logs, and then maybe you go to Zipkin, you go to Jaeger, you go to a different tool every single time to figure out what's wrong. And finally, after you figure out, like you do your fix in Visual Studio Code, in your editor, whatever. So the problem is, you get an alert in Slack, you get an alert in on email. If you're really good, you'll have the link to the dashboard in Slack and email. If you don't, please add dashboard links and runbook links in each alert. Then you go to Grafana, you go to that alert, you go to the dashboard, you kind of look at, okay, my system is overall healthy, but distributor is not. So distributor is adding 500 millisecond latency when it should not be. Let me go look at the logs for distributor. Then I go to Elasticsearch, and then I write a query that kind of translates the context I have. Okay, what I want to look at is the distributor logs. That is the context I have. And then I go to Elasticsearch, and I have to write a query for distributor logs. Then I see the logs are fine. Okay, maybe I should go to Jaeger and look at it. Then I go back to Jaeger, and then I write a Jaeger query to say, okay, show me all the logs for distributor. Now, all of this switching between applications, maybe you need to connect to a VPN at some point. All of this this is all non-ideal, and it wastes precious time. And you need to know 5 or 6 different query languages and things to get your work done. Similarly, like this, that was just one workflow. The other workflow is you have like your database is slow. Maybe you use App Dynamics. Maybe you don't use Elasticsearch. Maybe you use Splunk. Like there are different workflows where you're jumping from a tracing solution to logs back to dashboards to figure out what's wrong. This is all super non-ideal. I hate it. I mean, as much as I loved Jaeger, it was a 10x improvement. I was hoping I could stick to Grafana, and that's what we're going to talk about. We want to see how we can improve this flow being Grafana. So quick demo. Let me move this. I hope you're seeing my Grafana now. Let me open my demo dashboard.
You can see Grafana.
Yeah. So this is an extremely simple open source demo we made to showcase all the features. So essentially, this is a simple app. We have a load balancer, we have an application, we have a database. All of this is fake data. So we requests are hitting the load balancer, and that's being transferred to the application. That's being transferred to the database. If the request is failing, the load balancer is retrying it until it succeeds. This is great. So basically, we see that so far, like our database is erroring, hence the application is erroring. Maybe the error is in the database. Maybe we can go and look at the database logs. Or maybe if you want to look at the application logs, you can go and look at the application log. So instead of going to Prometheus, now copy pasting the query and doing your fine tuning, you can basically use the explore view in Grafana to directly jump to an explore view where you can say, give me only the status codes that are not 500. And this gives you non-500 status codes, and you see, okay, there's a spike at this point. Let me zoom into that. And now here comes the really, really cool bit. You can jump from Prometheus to Loki. So this gives you all the logs for these particular labels. So let's recap what just happened here. So let's go back to our Prometheus query. Let's even remove this whole status code bit. It's confusing. So we wrote a query that had job equals TNS demo app, and we are getting the metrics for that particular job. When we jump from Prometheus to Loki, we are keeping the same job labels, and by keeping the same job labels, we were able to get the logs for that job. So we could context switch from metrics to logs. Now here you see, okay, here's a fishy, here's something weird happening in my app. Let me look at a trace for this. And by logging the trace ID and creating a data link from this trace inside Grafana to our tracing system, we can basically jump from a particular request that is slow or that is weird to the trace for that request. So this is amazing, right? So for me, I completely love this, because what I do is when I'm doing my performance optimization, I get all the logs and I get the slowest logs, and I click on each log to get the trace ID for that log, and then I can go and look at, okay, this particular request, this particular query is taking 5 seconds. Let me see what is wrong, and I could do all of that inside Grafana itself. And for me, this is a game changer, and I completely love this data linking. I don't think I've used the Jaeger querying in a long time because of this whole context switching. And as Grafana, we are trying to move towards this, like this complete workflow, basically being able to jump between metrics to logs to traces. And a huge part of Grafana 7.0 will be enabling this and improving this. So we've seen this from logs to traces by using derived links in logs. And you can use it with Elasticsearch, you can use it with Loki, and in the future, you will be able to use it with all the logging solutions that we will support. We added a new distributed tracing data source. It only supports Jaeger now. The Zipkin data source is a placeholder, but if you're using Jaeger, you can use Grafana to visualize Jaeger traces. We are using the same UI library as Jaeger and contributing back to it. So if you move from Jaeger to Grafana, it won't be a big difference. And soon we'll have Zipkin and Lightstep and all the other providers. You can also create your own database plugin. Yep, you can select traces with this. Now comes the future bit. So we're working on adding exemplars to Prometheus. So we saw the request errors duration dashboard, right? So this is the QPS and this is the latency. And this is the histogram panel for Grafana. And the idea here is each cell of this is clickable. So what does this histogram panel tell us? By looking at it, it's darkest or reddest here in this time range. So it says between these times, most of the requests fell in this bucket. So most of the requests were taking between 10 milliseconds and 250 milliseconds. And a few were taking between 50 and 100 milliseconds. And there are a few that takes between 500 milliseconds to a second. So this is like the histogram panel for visualizing latency. And our idea is to make each cell in this histogram panel clickable. So basically, if you want to see, oh, there's a lot of requests or errors, or like there's a spike in something here, I want to be able to click on this panel and directly jump to a distributed trace for that bucket. So if I click on a bucket for 50 milliseconds, I look at a trace in that bucket. And then I can directly jump from metrics to traces. This way, if I see a spike in distributor, I'll be like, okay, show me all the traces for distributor that are slower than 1 second. And like you should be able to do that in Grafana with Prometheus and Jaeger in the future with other metric sources. So the ETA for exemplars is Grafana 7.1, but I think it might slip to 7.2. The design doc of implementing exemplars in Prometheus is public. The status is we have a proof of concept internally running that kind of demonstrates this flow. And once we have Grafana, even Grafana team build a front end POC for it, we will demo it. We'll gather confidence, and then we'll go ahead and make it production ready. So hopefully in the next 3-ish months, you'll be able to see exemplars in Grafana and Prometheus. So great. Now the other thing is from traces to logs. You suddenly saw a request was taking 5 seconds. You went to the trace, and then you're wondering, okay, I want to see what this particular application was doing around this, or what this particular service that took 5 seconds to process this query. I want to see the logs for this particular service around this time range that I'm looking at. And you will be able to click on view logs and directly jump from traces to logs, which is super cool. Finally, from traces to metrics. So this kind of says, basically, show me a certain metric or few metrics for this application, for this service around this time range. Having said that, we are not entirely sure, or we're not entirely confident about this flow or how it will look like. This is something we are guessing. And as we implement more flows, and as we keep using these workflows, we will get more data, and hopefully we'll have a really nice way or really useful way to jump between traces and metrics. Now, coming to our big tent open source philosophy, this is something I really love about Grafana. Like, Grafana supports Prometheus. Grafana has its own logging system. Maybe in the future we'll have a tracing system. I don't know. But the funda is, we will never give priority to a single system over other systems. We have a big tent, and every system is equal. Like, any feature that's implemented for Loki, we implement it in Elasticsearch next. Similarly, if we support something in Jaeger, we'll support it in Zipkin. If we support it in Prometheus, we'll support it in Graphite. The funny thing is, the Graphite has like in Grafana, Graphite has more support, like has some features that Prometheus doesn't have. Like, we don't want to prioritize a single system over anything else. You should be able to use all systems equally. That kind of brings me to the conclusion, which is basically, we don't care what monitoring system you use, what alerting system you use, what logging system you use. Give me a second. What tracing system you use, as long as all of this is inside Grafana. And yep. So in the future, maybe you will be using AppDynamics or Azure Monitor. Get an alert, look at it in Grafana. Maybe use Elasticsearch, jump from Azure Monitor to Elasticsearch for logs. Maybe you use Splunk, jump from Elasticsearch to Splunk for tracing. We don't care. As long as the entire flow is in Grafana, and you can seamlessly switch between system A and system B. And that's what we want to enable with these data links. And we want to make sure that as an operator, you can go to root cause extremely quickly and fix things. Cool. So that is all I had to share. Questions?